Welcome everyone in the new session of Urban and Suburban Transportation Concept and Strategy and Organization. This is the core subject of MS in Transportation System Engineering. This is Dr. Asim Farooq, working as the head of department in the Center of Excellence in Transportation and Railway Engineering. You can also follow this channel for the other subjects in YouTube. So you can just follow me. So you can find bunch of lectures related to civil engineering, related to material, as well as transportation and railway engineering. Okay. So to go in a details, I would like to clarify that this course content is copied from one of my teacher who's working at Technical University of Munich in Germany, Professor Dr. Andres Rao. So I follow him as my benchmark. And of course, this transportation system, most of the curriculum is designed according to MIT, Harvard, Technical University of Munich. Okay, so just to elevate and reach our level to the world standard organization. So first of all, to go in a very detail, I would like to explain what is the difference between urban transportation and suburban transportation. So the urban transportation system is consist of passenger and freight through which we modify or differentiate in the modal choice, which is transportation services are actually classified into land, water, and air-based system. So in the urban transportation, the movement of the people within urban areas or within geographic area while using different travel technology such as or using different transit modes such as buses, trains is called urban transportation. So the second term is about suburban transportation. So keep in mind one thing, urban transportation will only operate within the city and within the geographic area of the same city, while the suburban will actually connect the neighborhood along with the other rural areas. So the suburban transportation means that the route will be established between the city and its surrounding. Okay, so basically all those people who are working within the city but live in the outskirt or in the outside of that city is called suburban transportation. So to understand the role of transportation planning, the transportation planning basically entails in create the policies, goals, vision in future for the purpose to design the movement of goods and people, while to provide the services for the current time as well as to plan and design for the future as well. So this is the role of transportation planning, to connect and design urban and suburban transportation. In this specific subject or course, we will try to start from the functional characteristic of transit mode. We will also try to understand what are the different kind of transit mode existed, how we can define the transit line objectivity, what is the geometry and type of transit line, and starting till. So the course objective of this subject is that the student will understand the functional classification of transit mode, and at the end of this course, they will be able to model and design the public transportation scheduling. Uh, I would suggest that those slides will be more than enough. But again, if you want to go in a more detail, so I would suggest to go for a urban transit planning, the book which is published by Vikyun. So you can have a look. This is, if I would consider it as a benchmark for this subject. First of all, to understand the functional characteristic of transit mode, or if someone asks you what is the function of transit or transportation. So a transit function is very general notation which define the many ways how one could move around in any geographic area. Okay, so different type of a function usually comes to our mind whenever we define transit mode. Functions means what? Means mobility option. It gave us dynamism. So without transit mode, without transportation, we may be stagnant. Okay, so it gives us the option to move from one place to another place. And if the people specifically from the Asian region, maybe they remember in 1970 in the Pakistan we have a slogan which was called the bread, shelter, and cloth. So I would consider it as a transportation the fourth basic element as well, which is called transit as well. Because without transit, I cannot see the future of a humankind. And it's also give us the openness and accessibility. So through materials, means of transportation, and large scale production and stabilization of prices, all those are basically functions of transit mode. Okay. It also provide us the facility for all race, all age, all sect, all religion, in each and everyone. So we can call the transit mode the most universal or the people choice. Okay. It's also emphasize on efficiency and competitiveness, for example, in terms of time reliability, more functional timetable, greater planning and management. According to this figure, is you can see this is borrowed from the transportation geography book. The first purpose it's give us the connectivity. The second one is interface, while the third one is buffer. So what is connectivity? Basically, connectivity means through which the transportation terminal provide connectivity within a modal transportation network, which we call the only location from which a network can be entered or existed. Okay. While the second one is about the interface. So transportation terminal provide an interface between transportation modes, while it enable passenger in modes, goods and cargo, such as ports and airports. So those ports, airports, or railway points, those are basically the point of interface between different modal or different modes of transportation. Okay, so it's give us the option to go from one mode to another mode. While the third one is the interface or buffer. Okay, so transportation terminal provide a buffer between the different capacity and frequency within the transportation modes such as air, land, road, and railway. Okay. Uh, to go in a more detail, transit mode, we usually evaluate it or categorize on the basis of a three different concept. The first one is transit capacity, second one is transit dynamics, while the third one is right of way. Okay. So the transit system category could be categorized through specific right-of-way technological operations, such as different trolley buses have different right-of-way, they have different capacity, they have different dynamics, while the bus rapid transit, which we call BRT, or the LRT, or light rail transit, or rail rapid transit, or mass rapid transit. So all of them have different capacity, different dynamics, and different right-of-way. Capacity means uh, we will talk here about the two function. One is the static function, while another one is the dynamics. So in the static means the total number of spaces or person a vehicle can accommodate while standing in sitting. Okay. So of course, each and every transit will have different transit capacity. But when we talk about dynamics, so that means that the maximum number of transit units, vehicle spaces, or person that can be transported on a transit line between two fixed point. While when we talk about right of way is basically the easiness or the kind of reservation over the lane for transportation purposes. Okay, so we have different right of way, such as right of way category A, category B, and category C. So those are the transit modes about which we will talk in this session, in this lecture, in a more detail. Okay, starting from bus till rubber tired rapid transit. So starting with our very first street transit mode, which we call bus or regular buses. So a bus is a vehicle that carries significantly more passenger than an average car or a van. So it's most commonly used in public transportation, but is always used for a charter purposes, through which we call the private ownership. So of course, buses could be run by the city administration, or it could be run by private partnership program as well, or maybe the individual can also hold this ownership as well. So the common urban bus routes serve at all stop. Okay. And the next one, which is we call the upgraded form of a bus rapid transit, which we call BRT. So BRT is basically the category way, right of way, which have a unique way in like most of the cases. So it's basically the integrated system of distinct bus vehicles, which mostly separate right of way category B or a professional treatment such as at the intersection. It's have the intelligent transportation system. It's usually operate on the priority basis. It's also they have more safe operation as compared to regular buses. The next one is bus transit system. A bus service which is developed is a coordinated system with improvement in right of way separation stops, vehicle operation, passenger information, etc. Okay, so it's basically the subtype of a bus rapid transit, which we call bus transit system. And the next one is we call the express buses. So express is basically the mode of a transit services which is basically operated by buses. So the next one we have the articulated buses and the articulated trolley buses. The main concept among those buses is about maneuverability, or the maneuvering means the those trolley buses, they have the rear body section which is connected to the main body through a joint mechanism which actually move in a specific curve or in a specific section, which allow the vehicle to bend in a curve, and yet they have the continuous interior as well. Okay, so this is basically the articulated buses, which basically work on the more freedom, on you can call it the more bending capacity. Okay, concept. So the next topic about or transit mode is about streetcars. So streetcars in the old times, or in the like at least 100 years before, that was basically the horse driven or through power batteries. So a streetcar, also called a tram or trolley, okay, which runs on the track led in the street, paved or unpaved. But of course, it may not work on the unpaved one. Okay, so they have it is usually operated in the single unit, which is basically driven. Before it was driven through horses, and then it was converted to the power batteries, and then later on it was converted to the electric one. But of course, as a transportation planner, you need to understand the history of the transit mode as well. Okay. So the upgraded form is called Tram. A Tram is basically the subtype of a railway. Rail are the underground rapid transit may work in the underground tunnels, but the Tram, it's most of the time operated in the right of way category C, means it share its spot with other type of a regular buses. Okay, so the tram is rail vehicle that actually travel on the ground tracks on the public urban street. It is usually commonly it's called the street transit as well. The We have different type of a we have aerial trams, we have ground trams. So if we want to understand the basic purpose or basic difference between train and tram, so it may be separated on the basis of purpose, length, on board, and track level. So for example, if we talk about train, so it's mostly connecting the long distances city. But if we talk about tram, so it have the short cover distance. So length of the train is usually very higher, while the tram is usually operated in the single unit. while the kind of capacity on the onboard, it train may carry passenger and goods, while tram only operate for the passengers. If we talk about the track level, so train have little bit the track guided way is above the ground, while the tram have almost the same as the ground level, because we usually provide the same tram surface for the other type of a transit mode as well. So those are the functional characteristic of a transit line, which we will try to explain one by one, starting from the right of way, vehicle guidance. So those are the all sub points which we will cover later on. So, but before to go, I will just give you the brief idea of a right of way. So right of way is basically granted or reserved part of a lane transportation purposes, uh, which we usually called, which we usually reserved it for the purpose of maybe for the transportation services, or maybe expansion of existing services within the right of way. So in a simple word, right of way is actually the way which is dedicated to the same mode. As you can see in the next slide here. So for example, the left section is marked with the sign of a cycle or pedestrian. So no one can actually use this track because this one is dedicated to the non-motorized transportation. As you can see here, we have a very long queue where you can see here more cars and more buses, but this specific is called the right of way for the NMT, which we called non-motorized transportation. So coming back again to the previous slide, as you can see here, in the right of way category, A means that right of way does not share its route or path with any transit mode. It's completely run and independent and operate on the independent track. So there is no legal access to like that kind of a roadway or track or to the vehicle. So its best example is like the any country motorway, which is completely kind of a confined with the different barriers, so that no human, pedestrian, or any other transit mode can cross that specific part. While right of way category B means that it's physically separated, but it's kind of a shared, it's some specific spot, such as road crossing or maybe the street intersection. Okay. The third part is the tram usually operated from category C, which we already explained in the previous slide. So right of way category C means that those vehicle does not have the dedicated or independent or separate way. It's actually work from the completely mixed type of a right of way. So there is no physical separation to like set type of a traffic. So it's actually includes special lanes or like buses or like streetcar, which is basically paved or marked with signs or signal. We will explain what is the difference between category A, category B, and category C in the later on section. Thank you very much. If you have any question, you can get back in the comment section. Have a nice day. Thank you.